console offerings. I think that's about it. Let's see if this will accept it. Yeah, it actually accepted. Okay, so the title isn't too long, and we are good to go. Let's go to home. Let's minimize this one. And what did he say? All right. Let's start it. Let's begin. We got some topics to talk about. I almost wanted to. Oh no! I almost wanted to actually do the shit like at 11, like I did last week. But we won't do that because guess what? This is the normal time. So as you know, week. This was a dry week actually. This was a pretty dry week. Nothing really crazy is going on this week. And don't need to really go and indulge into it or whatever. But as you already know, if you've ever participated with this channel, you know that we start off with our story time today, and then we go into the topics. We're basically waiting for the room to fill up, and then we can move on from there. So my story of the day is literally simps. Simps. I can't deal with the simps, man. We got to do better as men. We got to do better with the simpy behavior. Yes, eventually I'm going to start to do other type of content on this channel along with gaming. I feel like the gaming community is definitely saturated. It's ultra saturated, and you just need to do something different. You know what I mean? Not getting rid of the gaming thing because you know that's I love talking about gaming, so that won't be a thing. Um, but I will be adding some more to it. A lot of stuff is going to talk about just, I would say, men bettering themselves. It's a little different from just talking about, I know a lot of this manosphere thing, if you ever listen to it, is always kind of bashing um, others, and I don't want to go that route. But what we're going to talk about is simping, and I've noticed a lot of simping. It is super fucking irritating. I've seen a lot of men totally degrade themselves in terms of simping for a little piece of feminine energy. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like a girl will sit there and say that a guy is not shit, and then they will literally be like, "You're right, men are not shit." Like, what the fuck are you doing, my dude? Why are you simping like that? What happened? If anybody can explain to me the nature of simping behavior, that shit's so wild to me. Every time I experience that, it's just the weirdest thing when it comes to simping. I don't know why people actually simp. I don't. Or guys actually simp. They degrade themselves all the time. All the time. I'm gonna start posting some stuff about the whole simp behavior. It's weird to me. If you are a man, you should definitely try to really just have some self-esteem. Have a little bit of self-esteem. Have a little bit of self-esteem. What's wrong with that? Have some self-esteem. Have some balls in this fucking game. It's ridiculous. Stop trying to get every little piece of attention from, I guess, women. Are you that thirsty? Like, I've seen some shit where I guess these guys with kids, and a woman would literally put them down, saying, "Oh, men ain't shit." Like, that shit needs to be checked. You need to check anyone that states that shit, because that shit's out of control, man. Father Day just passed, and that shit was one of the most low key shits I've ever seen. It was almost as if it was being suppressed. It was, people didn't want to say shit about it. Men were basically telling men Happy Father's Day, and that was about as all. That was it. That was all you got. That's how little society thinks of us at this point in time, and it's like that shit needs to stop. You know. Now, when it's Mother's Day, it's everywhere. It's every fucking where. You know what I mean? And then that goes deeper because like these holidays are actually created by corporations, so you could buy shit. They know that like 80% of purchases made in the United States are from women, and everything is catered to that. Everything is that's why you have a lot of this emotional purchases and stuff like that because that's the people who are buying the most shit. Let's be completely honest. That sucks. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer for this particular show. I want to get in and out and be done with it. I should have never drank that last cup of coffee yesterday. I knew I should have just had that one cup of coffee and kept it the fuck moving because that shit kept me the fuck up for too long. I didn't get enough sleep. And then now I'm like fucking groggy. So when I'm done with this show, now I gotta fucking go to sleep. I hate feeling tired, yo. I honestly hate feeling tired like that. I can't stand that shit. It's fucking annoying. But let's go on to the topics. So people may look at this shit as like a what do you call it? A clickbaity thing. But I've actually seen some image of what appears to be some new age PlayStation Portable. I I thought about this because I actually don't play my PlayStation Portable unless I'm vacationing. And I kind of vacation often, and especially in the summertime. The summer time, I'm definitely going crazy with the vacations. I'm gonna start changing that shit around. By the way, I'm gonna do that shit in the winter. Avoid this fucking freezing and shit like that. Let my car snow the fuck in and keep it moving. But like, um, when I go to different places and I don't have my PlayStation 5 with me and things like that, it's like, and I want to have my gaming itch. And I don't want to play the video games that Nintendo actually creates. A lot of the times I like open world games. No knock to Nintendo, but I like open world games. And I like adventure games. And they only have one of them. The rest of them are kind of like platformers, which I don't have a problem with platformers, but I'm past the stage of just like small curated levels. I want a bigger experience. And I would occasionally play my PlayStation Vita when I'm out and about. And I'm like, it would it be worth like $300 to buy a PlayStation Portable? Would that really be worth it to anybody? I wouldn't even ask for the OLED, right? Unless it's cheaper. Like I would be cool with an LCD. That sounds ancient. That's crazy. It's crazy to say that LCDs are a thing or it's becoming a thing of the past now that I think about it. That shit's fucking insane. But you ask yourself, would you like a laptop? And it's funny too because I probably can game on my laptop and just bring a controller, but I feel like I don't really want to bring a controller and then a laptop and then all this other shit. You know what I mean? Because I actually don't like my laptop's monitor. I don't like anything that's not really 4K. And you could get a 4K monitor, but then you pay extra money for shit that I barely would use. I think would I want to play a PlayStation Portable too? I definitely would. And for the people that's on my YouTube channel right now, just to let you know, I'm gonna post that up here. PSP Vita 2. They would have to keep that bitch open source or some shit. You know what I mean? I mean, what they show here, which it looks like a phone and it has like kind of like the slider analog sticks. I don't know. Like it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. I mean, when you're on a plane and shit like that, I think I would actually want to do it. Let me put it that way. I wouldn't mind having a PlayStation Portable. I wouldn't fucking mind having that shit, yo. That would be fucking sweet. Just turn it on. But the thing is, the caveat to PlayStation Portable, they would absolutely need to have like it needs to be like a PS4, and you need to have all of your PS4 games playable. At the very least, I think that's what you would need to do. Like it needs to be at that level personally, or if they had some kind of some API or SKU where it's like on the low key that they didn't tell us that those games were scalable and you can start removing features and shit like that. Like the Steam Deck is too much of a hefty device to me to be wanting that shit. I don't know. I mean, from what I can see, I want it. What's going on, Cloak?
Nothing much.
Yeah, it was goody, man. What you think about this PSP 2, man?
I was just looking it up right now. I did see some images about it, and I wasn't I wasn't around during the PlayStation PSP and then the PS Vita at the time. My friend did have a PSP, and I got to play. I think it was Ghost Rider on it way back in the past.
Ghost Rider.
But it was the one with Nicolas Cage. It's
Oh,
way old title.
you talking about the was it a movie?
Yeah, it was a movie, and
Oh,
it was actually it
okay.
was
So it was
also
like a
a game.
UMD. Okay.
Yeah, it was a game on the PSP at the time, but this was like way back in the past. But for to have for PlayStation to have another portable system, I don't know. I don't because here I know a lot of people did like the PSP and the PS Vita, but as to how PlayStation is working right now, I don't know if that would work or not.
No. Um, if you really look at it, I don't like even back then, like when I first got my PSP back in what was it, 2004? Damn, that's a long fucking time ago. That's almost what 20 years ago. When I got it back then, um, I would catch the bus because I didn't have transportation back then. I would catch the bus and I would use it there. And that PSP was my MP3 player because I refused to get a cell phone back then. Like all of the plans were like absolutely insane when it came to to me. I didn't have the money to be doing all that shit. You can only make calls that was unlimited minutes and shit like that at 9 o'clock and after or something like that. I forgot it was like from 9 to 9. You can make unlimited calls at night and shit like that. Unless you have I had T-Mobile back in the day. You had the five faves and shit like that. So you have your five best people, and once a month you could switch them out or whatever the case is. But I was like, I'm not doing all that shit. I don't even think back then phones were MP3s, like any of them. You had the iPod back in the day, which was just an MP3 player, and then it was regular fucking phones. To my knowledge, you didn't have that shit. So it was my MP3 player. Like I moved from the Sony Discman to the PSP. And I watched a couple movies on there, like Kill Bill was one of them. I used to work for Lowe's Home Improvement. Kill Bill was one of them. Uh, and then Spider Man. I didn't watch that shit too much, but Kill Bill was my shit. And I thought that shit was really nice, but ultimately it became a system where I only played it if I wasn't home. It was like I was programmed to just play it in the event that I didn't have my PS2 ready. And I just realized that I was like, I mean, it was such a specialized situation where I would actually touch a handheld. If they make a PSP, it would have to be like a Google based or something like of that nature. Like it couldn't be like their own proprietary systems or whatever the case is. I mean, they do have a mobile division, so who knows? I'm not stating that there's a PSP coming. I mean, there's images, of course, but like I'm not stating that shit. But I don't know. I don't know.
I
Like,
personally
yeah,
I personally don't see them using a PlayStation Portable like they make like it would be like Xbox making like their own portable system. But what's the point of having portable system when you have Xbox Game Pass for mobile? You just have to get a controller. But
that's,
as of right
that's
now,
probably the reason why it
PlayStation,
doesn't work because you would have to
yeah,
get a controller. That's the whole thing. Like I was saying this before you got in here. I would use my laptop for gaming because sometimes I'm almost like homesick when it comes to when it comes to well, when I vacation. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that being said, I don't want to bring my laptop with me and then I have to pull out a controller. Fucking going through TSA is very irritating as it is. Oh, you gotta take your laptop out and you gotta do this and you do this stuff. I don't want to have all that shit, and I don't want a Steam Deck either because I think that device is too large for a handheld anyway. Shit, I think the fucking Switch is too large. Truthfully,
I have the original Switch, and I also have a Switch Lite. I
why
can
do you have two?
tell. So the original Switch I have is of the first batch that was sold. That is since I bought that one, I bought it because it is moddable. I can upload a Switch, not a Switch emulator, but like another Switch OS on it in order for me to like mod games and do other stuff, like either overclock, and I can also do. There's another thing I could do, like make like custom themes and everything for my Switch.
So basically,
But
you jailbroke it.
yeah, it's basically like a jailbroken, but it's you have to use like a jig because on the for that type of Switch, there is you have to ground. There's a couple pins on the right hand side where the red Joy-Con is. You have to ground two pins, and that unlocks like the recovery mode or something like that. And then it's able to be inject a payload. If you press the power button and the up and the volume up button, you can inject a payload into it, and then you can upload your own OS.
Oh, so you really like basically modded the hell out of it. Okay.
You cannot. So there, you can do. You can use you have to get like a really big SSD, not SSD, but SD card, because you actually have to install the OS into the SD card, and it's called an MU MMC, or basically like an emulator hard drive or SSD, where everything's stored at, because you do not want to like replace the OS on the internal uh, storage device, or it will, or Nintendo will actually see that when it logs into their servers, and it will ban your console.
See, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not,
But I,
yeah, I'm not going to do all that shit. You know, you want, at least for me, I want something simple where I can just pick up and go. I'm not trying to open something up and do all the
yeah,
other shit. I mean,
yeah, I get
that's
that.
you
I
guys
get that.
tinker room shit, but I don't know, like the use of it. Even if you had it unlocked, the use of it, it would be like, do I really want a handheld? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Uh,
I'm just thinking about it. They would have to do what's best for them. Sony is what I mean, because at this current iteration, like it has to be a very cheap device, something like $200, and
I
something.
don't think that they're going to do it.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so
that they're going
either.
to do
I
it.
don't think so either. I'm just
I
saying what would increase
I
their.
think I think what they should do is actually put PlayStation Now, and not make it like Game Pass, but offer as like an app like Game Pass, where you get to sign in, and then you get to play the games that you own, disc or digital, and you're able to play it on your phone. It'll be, yes, it'll be through the cloud, sadly, but you'll be able to play it whenever you want on your phone. Be no point of actually getting a portable device.
So you're basically insinuating that they should do cloud stuff. No, I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want something native.
I
That's that because you can't do everything that you want to do if it's not native. You know what I mean? If it's not a native game, you just can't. Like when I go on the planes, you gotta turn off fucking airplane mode or use their shit, which is like what is it like fucking $20 an hour or some shit like that. I'm not doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be whatever it is. It has to be as powerful as the fucking PS4 and be able to run those games if they want that shit to be successful. Which obviously I don't think they would. Regardless of the matter, it would need to be like $200. Uh, so I mean, Sony supposedly is releasing hardware such as different types of monitors and headsets. I don't know if that's important to anybody, but like I'm good on that. I'm good on the other shit. I don't think I unless it's a 40 inch, which I doubt. They can't make a monitor that damn large. And I don't want to, excuse me, I don't want to sit down at a desk. I'm not interested in any of that shit. So ultimately, I'm not really interested. Like, what do you think about Sony's made monitors? What do you think about that?
So, well, you got to remember, Sony has been making technology. Oh, geez, what was it since the '80s, '90s, something like that? Because they used to make TVs, they used
They,
to make sound systems.
no, they still make all of those
Uh,
things. All those things are still being
yeah,
made.
yeah. But like now, they're back in the day, Sony was actually like the best one at the time. At least it's how I remember it. Um, but now you have all these other companies. Um, but for Sony to come up with like two new monitors, I know they have headsets. They're like one of the best in sound quality. Um, but I'm curious of these monitors. I know you did say that you didn't want to have a 4K laptop.
No, I said
It's
I didn't
good.
want to do it for pricing. That's pretty much it. Like I
Yeah,
don't.
those. I will agree with you. The 4K laptops, it's not the 4K laptops. Any like PC guy will tell you that they're not really that worth. They're not worth it. Even the price tag alone is not even worth it. But battery, they don't last that long. Even if at 4K, they have to be plugged in if you're gaming at all or even doing anything. And they're a lot heavier. And even though that you are so far away, let's say like what 2 feet maybe, depending if that, um, you're not going to notice a difference from like a 1440p to maybe even a 1080 would be no difference.
Well, it's a
But yeah,
well for me. My stupid ass would definitely notice the difference. That's that comes with the
depends on
territory.
the depends. Yeah, well, yeah,
My
perspective
eye, well,
does take factor.
my eyes near being nearsighted. It's there's you may not be able to see
Oh, I'm
far,
nearsighted
but
too.
yeah, I'm pretty shitty with that one. But I can tell
Yep.
the difference off bat. Yeah, you can sit back and shit like that. But yeah, I'm not really that pressed for their monitors or whatever the case is. But I'm gonna move on to the next subject here. And what I heard, you do have a PS5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm hearing that there is a Ghost of Tsushima Part 2 in the works, and I think we knew that. I think that was definitely a thing where we kind of was like, okay, no shit, dummy. Um, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's the end of the game. The end of the Ghost of Tsushima one does set up at least through no, not Iki Island. The first one does set up something for a sequel.
right, well, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Um, Even though it's set up for a sequel, the thing that we were well, a lot enough people were looking at in terms of like the hires and LinkedIn and shit like that. Um, they say that this game is supposed to be like an open world stealth game, and my boy Jemiah, shout out to him, he was mentioning about Jin Sakai because of the nature of how Ghost of Tsushima ended. He may become a total like ninja or shinobi, like completely, and have to infiltrate shit. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to work. I'm like really curious about that. I am. I mean, I feel like that shit's going to be badass, and I feel like the flavor of the game is going to be completely different because of that shit. You know what I mean? He's at this point in time no longer a samurai. he's something else. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I'll be interested to see how that's gonna pan out. Um, how did you feel
Like
about the Ghost that game Ghost of
oh, I
Tsushima?
loved it. I loved it. I loved it, and that was actually that would be my. See, when I first got my PS5, I played Astro's Playroom, and then I finished up God of War,
Okay,
and then I'm trying to remember my list here because I think I got to Tsushima, um, after my last game. Which one was it? Was it Horizon or was it something else? I don't remember, but I did get to play it. I loved it. I loved it so much. I know that the narrative of like what Xbox gamers they say that PlayStation has all these movie games. I kind of felt I don't I understand that, but I don't take that as like a negative because when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, I actually got popcorn because it did feel like I was playing a movie, and I love that. I love that feeling.
hmm, that's interesting. I mean, is there what about the gameplay? Because it's definitely like rich in
Oh yeah,
gameplay.
the gameplay, I loved how they incorporated the wind. Like, hey, where am I supposed to go? And then you just flip up on the trackpad on the on the controller. I loved how they did that. It is so creative. Instead of like in Fable or any other game, any other open world adventure game, where they have like a golden trail or like a compass that tells you where to go. I love how they incorporated the wind.
Okay, so yeah, that was pretty cool. What about the swordplay though?
Swordplay was fun. I did like the swordplay. I'm a bit of an anime nerd, so when I got like the power ups, what was it like the Heaven Strike or Heavenly Strike or something like that? I kept thinking of Demon Slayer and then like the thunderclap technique that Zenitsu does every time.
Yeah, that was such a fucking anime thing. I was like, that shit's so fucking anime, so ridiculous.
But you have to
Um,
understand where did anime come from? Came from
well, I know
Japan.
it's from Japan, but it was not a Japanese developer either. So, let's see here. I'm just punching in my fucking times at work,
Yeah,
but yeah, like so. I personally like everything about it. I wish that there was more interiors to go into, and I wish the horse had a sprint mechanic like they did in the DLC. It really wasn't a sprint
mhm.
mechanic. It was more so along the lines of a ram. You know what I mean? Because it
Oh,
consumed a
charge.
lot of. Yeah, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, man, this horse needs to move faster. I feel like they needed to have more interesting elevation or interesting terrain actually, um, and more shit to do. But like Icky Island definitely satiated a lot of my issues for sure with Ghost of Tsushima for sure,
Hmm.
and and then that was that. I really I was like, okay, cool. I felt that it was really good. I really liked it. They really did what they needed to do with that, and I can't wait for the sequel. It looks like they're going to change the sequel up to something completely different, which I am like totally here for. Totally fucking here for. Like
They got to be
I'm.
real careful. They got to be really careful
I don't know why you say that.
Because of Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed.
And
They got to be real careful and not to. I guess the right term would be like not step on any toes because I know that a lot of people when Ghost of Tsushima came out, they're saying that this is like the Japanese Assassin's Creed. This is what we wanted. We wanted Assassin's Creed in Japan, and we kind of got that within Ghost of Tsushima, kind of sorta. Now I don't I don't know if there's like any legal basis that they'd be like, hey, like Ubisoft would be like, hey, you're copying our game, Sucker Punch. It's bad. Don't do that. I don't think they'll
well,
do that. I don't know.
I'll say it is. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely not like an Assassin's Creed game at all. At all.
No, and I'm not saying that it doesn't play like it. I'm saying that it's
No,
like,
no,
oh,
but they say that Horizon is a Ubisoft game. They say basically anything that Sony does is a Ubisoft game, which is like extremely disingenuous. It's like, come on, bro, like stop. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at other games from back in the day, like for instance, Mario 64. I'm not sure how old you are, but like Mario
yeah,
64, and then you have Banjo Kazooie. Like, what Nintendo's going to sue them? You know what I mean? Like, like it's you could be inspired by different things. Like Horizon is definitely not an Ubisoft game at all, nor
no,
is Ghost of Tsushima. They can have like certain things that are kind of similar, but they're not the same. And that's not a
oh
dig.
no,
They're not. That's not a dig to Ubisoft. They're just flat out not the same. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just
It was more the fact that like it was more the fact that not that there's the Ubisoft games. It was more the fact that they are, at least in my eyes, at how I can see it. I could be totally wrong now, but it was the fact that like you can. It kind of felt like an Assassin. I won't say it kind of felt like Assassin's Creed game because it was. It only feels like Assassin's Creed because you were assassinating enemies. You were being stealthy.
and
I don't think that they
they
have.
didn't even assassinate like they did. He didn't even assassinate characters like in Assassin's Creed. They just had different mechanics. It was just a different game. And, you'd be super disingenuous to say that they're the same. And I know
Mhm.
you're not saying that, but just for the people who did. But anytime an Xbot says something, they always say the dumbest fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they'll say some shit that'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But here we are again with this bullshit. But they're not the
Mhm.
same. I'm here for it. It seems like it's going to be like a Shinobi. Yo, what's going on, Ken? It seems like it's going to be um, a Shinobi game. That's what it seems like it's going to be. And I'm here for that shit. I am. Our
Kagebo
next
no
top,
Jutsu.
excuse me,
You said a Shinobi game. And I'm like Kagebo no Jutsu.
man. I'm not Japanese. I don't know like that. Know anything about no Japanese
It's
shit?
from Naruto. It's Shadokon Jutsu.
Is that what that is?
Hmm. I
So
probably said the second word.
you must watch that shit and like you do subs, don't you?
I do both subs and dubs because sometimes the sub is better than the dub, but sometimes the dub is better than the sub. Because like I can watch, I'm cool with watching Naruto in the dub, but I can't watch Naruto in sub. I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Same thing for Dragon Ball and Inuyasha. I just can't. I'm sorry. I love Masako Nozawa as Goku and as Gohan and as Goten, but I like Sean Schimmel better.
Some people are just really are such a purist. It's like, so what? Like I like what I like. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Hmm. But
You could only watch it on this. It's like no, I can do whatever the
we
fuck I
could go
want.
off on like a total. We could go off on a total tangent because like the Attack on Titan dub. Oh my god, that was god awful. At least first and second season, but they kind of got better in third and fourth. But the first and second season of Attack on Titan dub, awful, god awful. They even got some of the script wrong. Oh, I hated it.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a whole mess if they did that shit.
yes, but I don't know. It's Funimation. What do you expect? But anyway, that could be like a total tangent.
So the next topic that we are going to be talking about here, where the fuck is my root beer? Oh, there we go. The next topic we're going to be talking about is subscription services, and not in the typical way that people would talk about subscription services online. PlayStation just rolled out their tiered system for PlayStation Plus, and I want to know how people feel about that. I don't have it, but I've been watching it. I've been taking a peek at how people are liking it, and I feel like I'm disappointed in it. You know, and it it goes to show you how everybody thinks that a PlayStation fanboy or a fan is a fanboy, and it's totally different. The reason why, and I'm not just doing it just to say that I'm disappointed in it. I'm disappointed in the classic implementation, and not because of Mystic Ryan said anything or Digital Foundry said anything. because I could deal with frame rate issues or whatever the case is. What I can't deal with is the lack of content. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? That's not like I'm not cool with that shit. It's like it's not it's a crazy lack of content, and I'm like, imagine if I bought this shit, yo. Like I've already played the games that I wanted to play on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So there's like no need for me to buy that service with that much of a just I was looking for classics, and I thought that they were going to have like the amount of classics that they had with even the PS3, and it's like super lacking. I mean, I guess if you like the PlayStation, 4 outings and shit like that, I mean, I guess you'd be okay with it, but I'm not okay with the outings that they have on there. But I can't really I can't judge it completely like that either, because ultimately somebody likes that shit. I've been reading online and I've been seeing people that be like, oh, well, I got into it, I like it, or whatever the case is. I don't like it because I played all the other games. But anybody knows me. I don't even like subscription services as it is. So I guess that's not really new to anybody. I wasn't feeling it. You have Game Pass. On the outside looking in, how do you feel about the tier system?
I also have PS Plus Essential. I'm thinking about upgrading to the Extra. But I too was also disappointed because I was kind of looking forward to my like a more like filled out PS2 library because I'm like, where's Sonic Heroes? Where's Predator Concrete Jungle? Where's Alien versus Predator? Like there's some really good PlayStation 2 games. I was hoping to actually see Fatal Frame on there, but no, it's not on there. I like the Dot Hack series, but no, it's not. Or I did get to see the Star Wars. What was it, Jedi Fighter or something like that, or Jedi Starfighter or something like that. That was cool to see, but I was hoping like some more other games on there.
But like I said, I'll keep it a buck. I wasn't impressed. Then that didn't impress me much. Somebody online was really happy. He was like, "Man, I have so much stuff to catch up, on and shit like that." And I'm like, hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, there's an update that's happening for PlayStation Plus for the higher tier. Um, because it's not supposed to update the first of the month or anything like that. It's supposed to actually update um, in the middle of the month. And it was supposed to already update, and I don't see the shit unless they're going to do it next month, or unless they kind of like focusing on different shit and want to make sure that other components work. Maybe they're doing that. I don't know. But this is one of the reasons why I don't fuck with subscription services, man. I'm like, I don't like this half baked shit, yo. I'm not a fan of that shit. That half baked ass, slow rollouts, man. I'm not a fan of that. I never was, never will be a fan of indie subscription services. And this is one of the reasons why I'm just like, I'm totally over that shit. But good on them for for the people who like it or see value in it. I like the games that I like, and I purchase what I want off the bat. I know what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn it! I wish it was better. Why? Why can't you have more PS2 shit? Like what happened? I
Uh,
was really hoping on. Actually, I was hoping for PS1 shit. To be honest with you, I was hoping for um, what do you call that shit? I was actually hoping for the old Tomb Raider games. I would like to see that shit upscale, but alas, it wasn't there. Fuck.
what they should have done was actually kept like the same model as they had before.
Right.
Had the PlayStation Plus and like the PlayStation Plus collection on there, and then have the subscription to where you can get like three games or like maybe like a a certain number of PlayStation 4 and 5 games for free, and then have access to like the PlayStation 3, 2, and 1 libraries. Imagine if every single game from PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 was available on the service. Instant win. Instant.
There's a legal reason why they couldn't do that, and there's a
I
technical reason why they couldn't
know.
do that.
I
I would
know.
love for it, but I guess if they can put it, if they can kind of put it, get the ball rolling, and see how people will gauge it. Because every time Sony or Microsoft or anybody, even Nintendo, if they start releasing backwards compatibility or whatever the case is, like older games, it's never nobody wants that shit. I don't, it's always underutilized, and it pisses me off, man.
I know.
Disrespectful motherfuckers.
I don't think anybody, if they did, if they're like, if Sony released the entire PlayStation 2 library, I don't think that there's going to be that many people playing Guitar Hero 2 or Guitar Hero for the PlayStation 2. Or hell, I don't even think anybody's going to play Sonic Heroes. Maybe a couple people just to relive their childhood. I guarantee they probably won't beat it.
It'll be definitely, and then you know what else too? Somebody mentioned this, and then I've experienced it. I bought Tekken on my on PS3, Tekken 2, and my Vita can play Tekken. And guess what? This fucking service can't do it at all. I have to be a subscriber, and it looks like it's exclusively for PS or it's for PlayStation upper tier, which is really fucking irritating.
Mm.
Irritating. Like all these little hoops and shit like that. I mean, I don't know. Oh, Link, what's going on, bro? Let me get you in there. Let me get you in there. What's going on, Silky? Yo, Link, what you gotta say about all this shit?
Oh man, I just hopped in here. Fuck, were you talking about services or what are we talking about?
We were talking about the subscriptions and how you feel about the new PlayStation tier.
Um,
I said that I was kind of disappointed in it.
I have absolutely no
Truthfully.
interest in it. I just don't. I don't rent games, So I just, it's cool that they brought it. Brought some different levels to consumers, but that wanted this. So a lot of these older titles, being able to play them natively, that's cool. I mean, I might pick up a couple of older PS1, PS2 games, but like I'm playing. Well, I don't know. This isn't really I'm playing Final Fantasy 9 right now. Like when I went to go buy it, it asked me if I wanted to sign up for the premium service because it was included, and I was like, I just paid the $20 and bought the game. But nah, I mean, it's not for me. For some people who like services and paying for these services, I guess it's cool for them. But there's nothing about it that's wanting me to sign up for it. I got PS Plus. It's what's the lowest tier, whatever, $60 one. I'm cool with
That's
that.
Essentials,
Yeah,
yeah.
Essentials is good for me. I just need to be able to game online. I'm not looking for this to supplement or provide me with games because I tend to just buy what I want. So, you know.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll take the fucking L. Like I'll buy a game and I'm like, it looks
Yeah.
interesting. Let me take the L. I mean, let me see if it plays well. Sometimes it doesn't. A prime example is fucking Watch Dogs.
I bought
Legion.
that shit too. Yeah, I bought it too. Yeah.
Even if that shit was fucking, I think I got it for like $20,
Me too.
man.
Me too.
I still feel like I was ganked.
I paid about 5 hours and that was it.
You could do $5, right? And I still feel
I played 5 hours.
like I wasted money.
5 hours.
Oh,
5 hours. Yeah.
I tried, man. I tried my best. Bro, I tried my best. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a legion of bitches. I was like, I'm gonna be Charlie's Angels in this bitch. And all of these women were ugly, man. They were short hair, masculine fucking women, yo. Every one of them are very old ladies. So I was like, I can't even do that. But the gameplay wise, that shit sucked
The
ass.
gameplay was horrible. The shooting, oh my god.
The shooting was ass. The driving was ass. Like, how do you go from Watch Dogs 2 to Legion? Like, how do you take several steps back? Not like a little bit. There's no turbo in there. The city is horrible to drive in. I get it's London. It's a tighter, alleyways and shit like that. But no, that shit was ass. throw that game in the trash, man. That shit was fucking trash. But yeah, it's not for me in terms of the subscription services. I told everybody I'm not interested in. I did see on Twitter somebody was like, "Oh my god, I missed so many games." Like I was always up in my games since the fucking beginning,
Right.
yo. I'm like, this shit.
I guess
I bought everything that I wanted.
I guess kind of like the point you tried to make. Like I'm not. I guess I've been gaming so long, like that I'm willing to take a risk on a game that I may not be 100% sure I'm going to love, and I may buy it and I may not like it, but there's games that people absolutely love that I don't like The Witcher 3. I think it's The Witcher 3. I don't like that game. I put 50 hours into it and I hate it all 50 hours. I was playing it and people were like, when you get past 30 hours, it's going to get good. I'm like, okay, no, I just don't like that game. So
I feel like because I'm not white, I don't like this shit.
I don't like that. I don't like the combat. It's trash. Like I don't enjoy the gameplay.
I tried to get into it. I don't like Celtic.
I'm white and I don't like it.
Maybe you have some black in your background, man.
Yeah, man, I don't like that game.
I'm joshing. I don't find it as bad because I have such a fetish for open world games, so I could tolerate it.
Yeah,
funny you should say that, but I think I might have to tell you once we're off air.
You're what? Off air.
What? Yeah, but these services and stuff. I mean, I like the way Sony is doing it though, because the way they're doing it is catalog content for the most part. So they're pretty much putting a bunch of their older content in there and letting them say, hey, if you want this stuff, here it is, So, I mean, the overall amount of games is a huge number of games in there. So I'm sure there's lots of things that people can play. But there's really nothing in there that I don't already own that I really, really wanted to play. So.
Yeah, as I said, the games that I've seen, it captured me, and I bought it.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
I'm not waiting for it to come to no service. Like people are putting up, oh man, I'm playing Returnal on PlayStation Plus. I never played it, or Ghost of Tsushima, I think's in there. I mean, these are great games that I couldn't miss out on, so I bought them day one. So
when I saw Returnal, right, I'll say this. When I saw Returnal, have you ever played Zone of the Enders?
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
That's what it reminded me of when I first saw it. I was like, it reminds me of, even though you're not flying, you're not a mech, but all the particles and shit. I was like, it reminded me of like a Japanese game, and I was like, we'll never get that again. Let's keep it a buck. So I was like, well, fuck it. This is the closest fucking thing. I'll take that. And I ended up I platinumed that game.
Yeah,
I platinum. I didn't even want to platinum it.
I thought about platinum, but I don't trophy hunt, so
I don't either.
I only platinum I have is Ghost of Tsushima, actually. I love Returnal. I mean, I probably have, I don't know, 80 hours into it, 90 hours, but I'm not, I just play a game. Like I just play it and do the stuff that I like to do in the game. The reason why I don't do platinum trophies is because I hate hunting for collectibles and stuff like that. Like that shit drives me insane. It's not fun to me. So, but weirdly, a game like Ghost of Tsushima, literally, I couldn't get enough of that game. I wanted to do everything I could possibly do in that game. So I ended up getting the platinum, but it didn't feel tedious. So,
I got the platinum for the Horizon Zero Dawn. I got that shit without even looking anything up.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I swung on one of those fake ass machines. It was like the humans built it. It was made of wood, and then they were like, oh, you got the platinum. I was like, oh shit. I platinum games that if I see that I care about. I just want to have those games where I'm like, yeah, I platinumed it. I don't trophy hunt, for sure. So that's
my favorite game of last generation, of the PS4 generation. Last of Us Part 2. I absolutely adore that game. But I have 100 something hours, and I don't even know how many times I went. I'm in the middle of a new playthrough. I don't have the platinum, but I just don't. For me, like some people love hunting trophies. That's great, man. But
Do what you
yeah,
do,
this is
I
not for
guess.
me. It's just never been. And I don't know. Like I didn't even really know about platinum trophies like that until like I got to this community and started like. I knew about trophies, but like I didn't know. I don't think I even knew about. I never really paid attention to it like that. So but
The game, my first platinum was actually Gravity Rush 2.
mhm.
I mean, I'm sorry, Gravity Rush, not the first, not the second one, but Gravity Rush. That was my first one. I fucking loved that game. We were just talking about the handheld. I wanted to ask you about that shit too. Would you buy another handheld, or would you buy a handheld from Sony?
I don't like handheld gaming at all. I have never been a fan of it, so I wouldn't buy it. And I bought both of the PlayStation, PSP, and the Vita, and end up giving them away. So I would not buy it. I know it's not for me. I don't. I have a Switch, but I do not play it in handheld mode. I only play it docked. So yeah, I don't. I'm not interested in handheld.
That's
Yeah, I don't like
crazy.
handheld gaming.
I was telling Cloak, I only played the PSP and the Vita when I wasn't home
Mm-hmm.
and away from my console from extended periods of time. Like
Mm-hmm.
my fucking Vita right now is just chilling. Like when I got home from my vacation, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. I don't really want to sit up and play, PS5. Let me just, and then I just fell asleep, and I just never did anything. So that's unfortunate. But I will probably scoop one up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I scoop it up. I scoop it up. Going on to our next topic here, yo. Would you believe that the fucking chip shortage is finally ending, man?
You think so?
Oh man, that's what they were saying, man.
Oh,
Sony has alluded to that shit too. Where, and I'm not just talking about PlayStation. I mean just all together. You know what I'm saying? So at least for AMD, I'll put it that way. They say that they are starting to, be able to mass produce a lot more of them.
mm.
And I'm just kind of curious, that necessarily isn't the topic. What is the topic of this shit, right? Is the console offerings. Because there are some people that, even if there's a chip shortage, right, and you are able to get these consoles readily, I see a lot of people buying the Xbox Series S. And I guess my question to you and Cloak is, and for myself really, is how do you enjoy the console offering that you have right now, Link? Start off with
Do
you.
I enjoy? Wait, what's the question again? Ask it again.
Do you enjoy the PS5, the offerings of the PS5?
I love the PS5. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the output of games. I'm happy with the hardware. It's whisper quiet. It's powerful. I mean, it's doing everything that I want it to do. So I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
What about you, Cloak? Your consoles in general, what do you like about them?
Well, for the record, I own all four
Everything.
platforms. I have a game
Yeah.
PC, Xbox Series X, PS5, a Nintendo Switch, and a Switch Lite. So out of all of that, I am. It would be. I obviously do love everything that they do offer, but as to which one I would like them, as to which one I like the most, that's a real tough one. I haven't really thought about that, but I have the most history with the Xbox. Been with Xbox since 2007. Yeah.
Hmm.
But and I recently got my PS5 in of April, I think of this year, I think. But as to which one I like the most, I'm kind of leaning towards the PlayStation. And I'm not saying that just because there's PlayStation guys here. I'm saying that because it is it is really a breath of fresh air. Because from the best years on Xbox was between 2007 to probably about 2013, 2014, before either right around the same time as like Destiny 1 came out, because that's when I just binged Destiny. I didn't play any other game except Destiny, unless there was like a dry spell within there. But those were like the best times for me. So when I played the PlayStation games like Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm trying to get through Death Stranding right now. Those give me the same feeling as that gives me the same feeling from 2007 to 2013, at least for me. So I'm kind of siding with PlayStation 5 at the moment.
So I'm going to say this, right? As a person that heavily favors one platform, you know what I'm saying? Story time, right? Back in every time a Sony console released, right? It was dry as shit for the first 2 years, man. For the first 2 years, it was absolutely dry. I didn't feel like fucking with any of it. I wasn't having it until when year two came out, right? Like for PS1, I actually didn't get that until much later on in the life cycle, like maybe like 3 years into it. And then I had a whole bunch of different games that I was playing, and then demos really opened up my palette of taste when it came to games. I was playing all sorts of shit that I would typically not play at all, and it made me buy a whole bunch of games. PS2, I was basically using backwards compatibility for the first year and a half until Grand Theft Auto came out. And then, as we all know, I murdered that fucking game.
Oh yeah,
That was
San
if there
Andreas
was a
or three.
no, I'm talking about three. That was when it came
Oh
out. It
yeah,
came out on launch. I rented it at first, and then after I rented it, I just purchased it. I was actually waiting for Driver 3. I was a big fan of Driver on the PS1, and when they made Grand Theft Auto, I was like, "Fuck this fucking kids game. I don't got time for that." And I absolutely fucking loved it. Absolutely, positively loved that shit. I was like really enamored with the game, and that's all I needed was just that game. Back in the day, like PS1, all I needed was the Tomb Raider games. PS3 came out, and I was doing backwards compatibility. I played God of War on the PS3, and then really after I was done with that, the PS God of War 2, by the way. After I was done with God of War 2, I just played Motorstorm. I didn't really like that game. That game grew on me. And it was really nothing that came out that I liked. I mean, Uncharted looked nice graphically, but I'm like, I really wish there was a Jack and Dexter's Uncharted. Played a little bit of demos. PlayStation Home came out, and that kind of tied me into waiting for Killzone to come out and shit like that. And it was just about graphics back then. PS4, honestly, I know a lot of people love PS4. That was not my favorite PlayStation generation. And the reason why is because like it was so dry for so long. I didn't like Killzone Shadowfall that much, even though I could still play it. So that I didn't like that. I didn't play the Call of Duty games. I ended up playing one of my favorite games on the PS4 was 7 Days to Die and Drive Club. And I played that to
mm-hmm.
death. I never played a Souls game really that deeply until I got into Bloodborne. I played that and I beat that. But it was just like until Horizon Zero Dawn came out, I felt like I was like, man. I mean, I get that the fucking industry almost collapsed from the PS3 and Xbox 360, but I was like, I'm not feeling this shit. This shit is whack.
Mm-hmm.
This generation, though, the first year there was a lot of fucking games, and then the next year came out, and it was overwhelming. Like I was trying to make myself not like the offerings. I was like, I don't really like this shit. you know, and then I loved fucking what do you call it? I will play Gravity Rush occasionally, but I did like what the fuck is it? Returnal. I love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
I
like
still gotta
Ratchet and
play that.
Clank.
Oh, I love Ratchet and
Yeah, it's a good
Clank.
game.
Dang, you didn't like Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank?
You want to know why I didn't like Ratchet and Clank?
Why?
Because fucking Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal was a much better game. Much, much, much better.
That was the one Ratchet and Clank I was not able to play at that time period.
I think this one was
I
a
was so
good
It's,
mad.
showpiece for what the hardware could do visually,
I don't
um, and
fuck that
everything like that.
showpiece.
It was a good game.
They
I
should
guess you
have
didn't
bring
like it, but
back
that's
Jack
okay.
and Daxter.
Yeah.
No, you can't even bring back Jack and Dexter because of the climate that we're in. And to me, like, see, the thing that people don't know is that Ratchet and Clank, its comedy was very reminiscent to what do you call it? Futurama. This game that they released, not only was it it's a kids game all through and through. It's a kids game. And that's not how the originals were, but in terms of gameplay, the gameplay flowed much better in Up Your Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? It was just a
Hmm.
better game to me. And I know why. You know what I'm saying? Sony has been lately. They couldn't do what they wanted to do in terms of violence and shit like that because of the climate that we're in. Take for instance, you don't believe me? Killzone 2, right? Allow for you to blow somebody's head completely off, right? Killzone 3, you took your thumbs and burst someone's fucking eyes and used it as leverage to break their necks or stab them in their eye sockets, right? Killzone Shadowfall, you can't decapitate anybody, and it's not bloody either. You can't
Wait,
blow off
really?
limbs or nothing like that. Yeah, no, you can't.
Why
Nope.
did this happen? Because wait, when did Killzone 3 come out?
2011.
2011.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn that was there around the same time Gears 3. Hang on, Gears of War 3. When did that come out? Gears of War
No, I'm
3.
saying I'm saying that's Killzone 3 was one of the most violent games out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shadowfall,
So
yes.
yeah. So was. It's so weird that like Killzone would actually be censored something like that because on the Xbox side, some games weren't censored like that at all. Gears of War 3 and 2 was just one of the, like those are pretty gory. Like in Gears of War 3, there was an execution to where you can rip off someone's arm and like beat him to death with it.
Yeah. Well, Sony
Weird.
has to be. They got to be family friendly, regardless if it's an M-rated game or not. The only game that got a pass for
Last of Us.
unknown reason is The Last of Us.
Yeah, that
I
is
mean, I know
weird.
what the reason is, but Killzone, they definitely was like, yeah, no, you can't do that. You can't blow somebody's head off. We don't want that depiction. So they took that out. In terms of God of War, even God of War took a major step back. And now the narrative is that he's with his child, but there's spots where he's not with his child, and he's just a totally different thing. And I get it, and I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the new one. I got to see what it is. But Sony actively, the only violent game that they made is The Last of Us Part Two, which I wanted to ask you, Link, man. I tried to get into The Last of Us Part Two again, and you know what destroys it is the fucking pacing, man. I can't, man. There's too much walking.
I found the
Those
game
those
to
those sections are.
be in every, I mean, every aspect of that game to just, I just loved it. I mean, from the
Like
combat to the story to the pacing to everything.
that game must have sung to you.
Yeah, so like I said, it's my favorite game in general. It was God of War, 2018, but that one Last of Us. But I really, really love the original Last of Us, and I just really love where they took the story and everything else, the gameplay, everything in Last of Us Part Two. So the game really, like, I don't know, like when I play a game and the story just really grabs me, and by the end of it, I actually sit and think about it, and um, I did with that game, So for me, I can understand everybody's got their own taste in video games and stuff like that, but for me, that game stood out the most of anything I played last gen. And if they give us a PS5 version of it, I'll gladly buy it again. So,
See, for me, I will say my biggest situation that about my biggest thing, like I didn't like the soap opera story that they had going on. I wasn't really feeling that. It was just like, to me, I get it because it's a totally different story. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to like make a different story and have it compelling. So you had to change it up. You know what I'm saying? So, but this story was just, it reminded me of my mom's soap operas, man. It's like,
Mhm.
are you pregnant? I think
That
I
was
am.
that was one of the big issues I've seen. I haven't played it yet, but I was spoiled of it because the game was leaked online. So I got to see like how Joel died and everything like that, and then everybody was pissed. I did get to watch. I did get to watch several scenes. Um, I know
Why are you watching
PewDiePie.
these games? You could have
why are
played
you
it.
watching games, man?
I didn't own it. I didn't own it at the time.
Whoa.
I didn't own a.
I don't know.
I didn't own the games.
I mean, that's cool, I
This was
guess,
like years
but
ago.
I never wanted to watch a game that I was going to get. I guess if I planned on playing it, I don't, I don't know.
I was more of the fact that like I at the time I kind this was before like Game Pass and everything that came out, but I was
what
in
does
the
Game Pass
mindset
have to
of
do with
like
PlayStation?
no. I'm saying like way back in the past, like back in the how I determined like how I wanted to buy games. It was the fact that like it started with Area 51 Black Site. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but I got it for the 360 at the time. I didn't have the PlayStation I owned at the time was a PlayStation 2. I didn't have I didn't have a PlayStation 3. I just had the Xbox 360. But I remember loving Area 51 on for the PlayStation 2, and I thought that Area 51 Black Site was a sequel. But when I played it, it was just god awful. I hated it.
Yeah,
So
I liked the Area 51 too. It was one of the most graphically impressive games on the
oh
PS2,
yeah,
bro.
it was really good. It was really good for its time. I wish they do remake it, or at least maybe like make an actual
No,
sequel.
Midway is done. But what about,
I know.
okay? So why were you watching the game?
Why was I watching it? It was the fact that when I found out, um, I watch games in order to determine if I want to buy them or not, if I
Huh?
want to play them. Because
But
even though
if it's a story driven game, if you're watching it, isn't that
it's
spoiling
totally
the?
different for me. I know what you're going to say, but it's totally different for me because even though that I do watch it, I'm still even though I do watch it and know what's going to happen, it's going to be for me. It's a different feeling of when I play it. I can watch Dead Space, and I can also play Dead Space. Totally different experiences for me. I can't really explain how, but just how my brain works. Um, but
So if you have a wife, I mean, if you before you marry her, you have to see how she takes it, and then you marry her. I'm just fucking with you.
I was going to say I know there's a right
I like how
answer,
you
but
was like, wait, what?
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of men that do that.
Do what? Watch their girl have sex
No,
before they? Oh,
no,
Um,
more like a trial. Pretty sure
no,
there's
but
men that do that.
that would be a demo,
it's
but that's not what
really
you're
Yeah.
it's
doing.
really hard to take somebody's opinion of a game if they haven't played it though. If they're giving you an
No.
opinion about it.
I actually own the game now. I just haven't played it yet. But
Exactly.
I
That's what
know
I'm
it.
telling you. You haven't played it, so I
But
don't.
I know how it kind of works, and then I've also watched reviews on it too.
What
I've
does that
watched
have
No,
to do?
I mean,
Nah, man. Come
let
on,
me hold
man.
on, wait. Hold on. This is okay. So Red Dead Redemption. If you look at that game, you be like, that shit looks fucking fire.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
But when you play the game, you realize that the input
It's
latency is so
ridiculous.
out of control, yo. You can't
Mhm.
really play the game without the aim assist.
Yeah, you can't.
Mhm.
Like strong, no, excuse me, lock on. It's not even assisting you. It's just locking on.
And
It's so
everything
terrible.
takes so long. Like the attention to detail. I mean, I applaud them when it comes to the attention to detail, but at the same time, like it's almost too detailed some of the animations are just so drawn out, and it just gets tedious, you know. But yeah, the input latency, yeah, it's so those are things you're not going to be able to get from watching somebody play the game on YouTube.
Yes, that's why I'm saying to you. That's why I'm saying to everyone that, like, yes, I know about The Last of Us 2, and I watched a couple clips and I watched a review on YouTube, and from what I saw is that the the going back and forth between Ellie and Abby is that, like, Ellie is like in the present, but Abby's in the past in some scenarios of the game, and kind of feel like that it would be better if we played one of the characters first, at least as like have like separate campaigns, because it just
Huh?
I know a lot of I know.
Wait. I need to get more understanding of what you're talking about. What do you mean? One's in the present, one's in the past.
So there is one after Abby kills Joel. It blacks out, and then it goes like, I think it's like a couple weeks or months, like a month in the past, and then you play as Abby. And I saw a lot of clips that were just like, the player, the streamer, was just angry, and they were trying to make Abby jump off the cliff.
Yeah, but that's not talking about the gameplay. Like,
Yeah,
if you haven't played,
I know.
and
I'm
you
only
do
talking about the
realize,
story.
like
I'm not talking about the
you
gameplay.
do go to present time with Abby as well.
Yes,
no,
yes. A lot did say that.
Okay.
It just seemed. I just know that a lot of people were saying that it is confusing. I'm only talking about the story, not the gameplay. I don't know anything about the gameplay because I haven't played it yet.
yeah, but that's part of the.
You got to play the game, man. You can't just watch somebody play it because the narrative, the gameplay, the story, the pacing, everything goes hand in hand, I believe. And just watching someone play a game is not giving you a full grasp on what's going on. I just don't believe.
Yeah, I've only like saw like only a couple
Like
clips of it.
I told you. I bought The Last of Us at launch, actually,
Yeah, I didn't have a
and I played
PlayStation
it,
4 at the time.
and I played and I beat it.
Mm-hmm.
But I what they did, these a lot of the sections lasted too long. The levels were too large for what you could do in a game, and it's not that it was too large in terms of it was like um I didn't know where I was going. It was just like the places that you could explore. It was like I have to walk, and Ellie and Abby runs slow as hell in that thing. They only put their pep in the step as if they're around, humans or in the counter. But you would jog from one side to the other only to get one drawer in a napkin. And I'm like, come on, man, I need more shit than this. So like
Mm-hmm.
I walked all the way over there. It didn't respect my time, at least for me. Uh, the gunplay, when you did do it, to me it didn't feel like enough. It wasn't enough for me. At least with the early Abby or Ellie stages, it was not enough. It was mostly talking to try to get me to be invested into Ellie's relationship, and for one, I couldn't relate. I'm not a chick, and I'm not a lesbian either. But it was just like, oh, I think I'm pregnant. Are you pregnant? Oh, here's a bucket. I don't want you to throw up over there. Wipe your mouth. I was like, I was just like, I know it's more nuanced. I'm halfway joking, but like, I was like, all right, man, all right, cool, whatever. And then, I had to be like, I had to suspend my belief with a lot of the different things, such as like, Abby punching the shit out these fucking zombies, and she's not immune. And I'm sure like there's spores flying all over the fucking place, man. She's not even just like casually like trying to take them out quietly. She is like haymaker and these motherfuckers. Pieces of fucking fungus all over the place, man. She's just like, well, whatever. I'm not going to catch it because I have plot armor. But like, that's how I felt about the game. I feel like the first one was crafted in such a way where they gave you a immediate area, which had a lot to explore, a lot to take in, and they kept it small, and they kept the sections small too. I feel like in The Last of Us Part 2, there was way too much exposition to try to like push the story along, and it didn't try to infer anything. It was just flat out telling you this is what this is and this is what that is. And I'm like, man, I would prefer it to be the thing. Like, for instance, like for Joel, you knew that he was a survivor, but then you didn't know what he did in the past, and then he didn't really tell you either. It was up to you to interpret. Like, okay, like he did some shitty things, but we don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Even Tess was like, we are shitty people. You're like, well, why would they say that? And we don't quite. And they sprinkled it in later on when Ellie was like, yo, I think they need help. And then she asked him later on, she was like, how did you know? And he was like, well, let's just say I was on the other side of the fence. It was just done masterfully in the first one, whereas this one, it was just, I'm just going to tell you everything about it. And to be honest with you, the Horizon Forbidden West did the same shit. They were telling you way too much shit. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, don't tell them every fucking thing. Like, I knew about Farzine shit. It was just, stuff like that. I feel like developers feel like people are stupid, and you could just infer things. It's cool. But in terms of watching games, the same thing fucking happens with if somebody watched Horizon Forbidden West, they would think it's exactly like the first game, and it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
She runs the same way. It does not play like the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have a fun time trying to make it play like the first game. There's too many things that are different.
And at that time period, it's like I said to myself, like, when am I going to play The Last of Us 2? The only reason I got to play The Last of Us 3 was because, like, my friend, he let me play it on his PlayStation 3. I got to stay over there at a weekend, and then I got to play it, like, it took me like a day, pretty much. That's the only way I knew it, and that's the only way I knew about The Last of Us. I did get to replay it sometime later, but as during that time period, I did not have a PlayStation 4, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna, I probably won't get a PlayStation 4 anytime soon. Might as well look into this. I only got the notice of it through a skill up video because I listened to YouTube while I'm at work, and I just on autoplay, and that's how I heard about it. Heard about the leaks.
Yeah. Well, my YouTube channel was affected by it, so that made me salty as well. And they were blocking every fucking Monday. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Mm-hmm.
But
so everybody knew about it, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna look into this."
I didn't get spoiled. Believe it or not, I stayed away from all the spoilers.
Did you really?
Stay away from all of it. I literally didn't talk to anybody about the game. I didn't go on Twitter like the last couple months. Didn't read YouTube comments. I literally stay away from all the spoilers. So I literally went into the game completely blind.
Blind as fuck.
Yep. So when the moment actually happened, it really hit me like, whoa. Because I was wondering what it is, but I didn't want to find out. Like, I'm not the type of I don't like spoilers, so I try my best, like, if they're out there, to stay away from them. If it's a game that I'm really excited, a game or a movie that I'm really excited about, like
I am so glad. I am so glad that I did look into this because I'm a huge Aliens fan. I love Alien versus Predator. And I remember when Aliens Colonial Marines came out, and something told me to wait. I waited about maybe like a month or two, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go get Aliens Colonial Marines. I then stopped and like, hey, okay, wait. Remember Black Site Area 51? Why don't you just look up something on the computer and see if the game is actually good? You don't want another shit fest. That's when I found Angry Joe and his review. And it's Aliens Colonial Marines, it was just hot garbage.
I can tell you put a lot, from what you're saying, I can tell you put a lot of stock in reviewers. And for me, I'll look up some gameplay or something like that, but I really don't give a fuck about what no reviewer thinks about a game. Like, if the gameplay look good to me and I see enough about it that I'm interested in it, I'll pick it up. But as far as
be at that point where you just know what you like, right?
Yeah, I know what I like. I know what I like when I see it. I don't
just know what you like.
Reviewer.
You're gonna like it or not.
Yeah, you don't need someone to tell you. Nobody has to tell me what game I want to play or not play. You know what I'm saying? There are games that haven't reviewed great that I've enjoyed. So for me, I don't watch reviews. So I might watch a
but
dumbass technical analysis or some shit, but none of that stuff is going to affect me deciding to buy a game at all.
that's with at least with Angry Joe's reviews, he does put gameplay
Angry
and
Joe is a
actually
fucking
makes.
clown.
I know I know that he
I
is.
don't give a. I don't respect his
Yeah,
opinion at
what's your
all.
beef with this guy, bro?
I
Can
don't.
you go into it a little bit?
I don't
This
respect his
motherfucker
opinion.
always what's
He
his
just.
rating system? He gives everything a low ass score and just screams the fucking wave through. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
He just ride the outrage
He
wave
hates
about certain things
NFL.
too. He's full of shit.
he made like 30 Last of Us 2 videos. You saw that?
Yeah, fuck that dude, man.
Niggas were making bank
you
off
know,
that
But
shit.
like
It's sad.
fuck
he shows the gameplay off of what's wrong. He does show it off.
no.
He's not lying. He's not making all those
I
clips
mean, his
up.
Last of Us 2 review, bro, he was saying it's the exact same as Last of Us 1. I couldn't even listen to that.
I hate when people relegate shit just because. Oh man, like I
He's
can
one of
give
those.
you a
Uh huh.
very I can give you a very detailed like review of the Last of Us and what I think because I can articulate it and for any fucking game really because I'm a
But no,
fucking gamer first and foremost.
right, but you played the game, so I respect your opinion. I may not agree with it, but you played the game. The thing about Angry Joe and people like him is like they like to be outraged about shit. So whatever is going, like whatever in the gaming space, people are pissed off about it. He's gonna be pissed off about it. Like I don't feel like he always gives an authentic opinion on things. I think he just rides the wave a lot of times with some shit. So that's why I really just don't respect him.
There are other reviewers and there's other people and other places I go for when I'm like interested in the game but don't want to get burned. Even when I go, I ask my friends online to say, "Hey, is this game any good?" No, stay away from it. No, don't do it. Hell, I even do that with the games I'm playing, like Destiny 2. It's like, no, don't play it. Do not, don't play it. It's not good. Don't play it because you're
I
gonna get
mean
sucked into
honest
it.
I mean honestly like I said before I stopped listening to reviews right back in 2003 I believe. That did it for me. No, I'm sorry. It was before then. You know, I already said this earlier in the fucking podcast here in the space. I said that I was a big fan of the old Tomb Raiders on PlayStation 1, right? Everybody should know that by now. I remember they would give Tomb Raider a horrible score based off of its annual releases, not the gameplay, but its annual releases. It didn't have an issue. They just had an issue with it releasing annually. And so, because the previous one came out, they would give it sixes and shit like that. And at the time, I didn't know why. You know what I'm saying? But it's for click. Back then, it wasn't clicks. It was for the purchase of the fucking magazine. And then, to me personally, I was a big fan of Grand Theft Auto. Right, Grand Theft Auto 3. When Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out, I was not a fan of that game. The soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks of all time, but the gameplay wasn't that great. The scenery was good. The soundtrack was good. The gameplay was fucking broken, essentially. And they gave that shit tens across the fucking board. That's how I really was like, there's some fucked up shit. Then I remember, I mean, I stopped it back when 1998, 9, right? That's when I was like, fuck these reviews. But then I would look at the reviews just for entertainment. I remember they reviewed Flower, and they said that Flower for the PS3 was transformative, and I go home and it's therapeutic, and I was like, "Shut your stupid ass up, man, with that nonsense." It's therapeutic. Just the wind. I just blow through the trees, and it was I had a stressful day. You
Reminds
know,
me of the Anthem and how
yeah,
they
my
tried
my
to.
they were like my wife divorced me, and she took half the stuff, and she took the kids, but it was okay because I just turned on my PS3 and I turned on Flower and I was just freeze to win. I was like, shut the fuck up, yo. What is this? Get out of here. I was like, this is just stupid. I
So my
couldn't take them
question to
seriously.
you guys, and to link, my question to you guys is that like what like obviously you guys do buy your games, but like you don't. Do you do any research into them so that you don't get like burnt? Like let's say, for example, like Anthem or Fallout 76.
I mean, a lot of time, if there's enough gameplay out there and I see enough of gameplay, I don't have to do a ton of research. I know what type of games I like to play. So Anthem obviously was not something that interests me at all. I don't like those games as a service, online, persistent, whatever that shit is. I don't like those kind of games.
Yo,
so I wasn't
Link,
going to buy it.
They had a demo too.
Yeah, I wasn't
case,
interested in playing a demo.
In case you needed to have extra thing, they had a demo. They thought that shit was popping.
Oh gosh,
I don't. Nothing about that game spoke to me. So
I still bought it. I feel like a clown. But Link, I was gonna ask you, do you feel like some of these live service games they feel like a full-time job?
Yes.
Yeah, games like Destiny. You know what I mean?
hate that
I don't like those type of games.
It'd
So
be like you stop playing the game for 6 months. It's like, oh, here's like a whole
it's
job's
like
worth of stuff to catch up on. Like, nah,
you got to grind and do the same missions over and
exactly.
over, and
Yep.
not for me. Not for me. I'm
Yep.
not.
I have about 3,000 to 4,000 hours in Destiny 2, and yes,
Yeah,
if you do not play for like right now, it's like even about like 2 weeks, because now they added in weapon crafting for Destiny 2, and even though that they're enhanced perks, they're only like a little bit better than like normal perks for the guns. It does make a tremendous difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
What got me was with Destiny 1, I bought it, and there wasn't a lot of content there at first, right? Then they started putting out those expansions, but I'm like, I'm spending more money on expansions than I spent on the damn game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not doing that. If you sell me a full price game, it needs to have a decent amount of content. You know, I felt like they sold me the burger without the patty. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, I had a sour taste in my mouth with that game, and and then like the grindy nature of it just wasn't for me at all. I had friends that loved
Warframe,
it, but just not my
Warframe,
game.
Warframe, I was really into. I was wanting to be into it, and then like
Uh-huh.
that shit kept evolving too fast. I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like that sometimes with those games. But I started to realize like most multiplayer games just are not for me. I'm a single player type of gamer at this point. And I'm very selective about what multiplayer games I will play because I tend not to spend a lot of time in them. So, you know,
they
yeah,
don't make them like they used to. They used to be like
nah.
Oh, they,
competitive.
hmm
And it was about skills and shit like
Like for
that.
instance,
You know,
a game like Gears of War, right? Gears of War 1, 2, 3, I put so many hours into those games. I absolutely love them. But Gears 4 and 5, I don't know. I didn't like them. I didn't like those games. So
well, in all things considered, the original designers weren't there.
yeah, you could tell too. The game was very casualized as well. So the multiplayer was and the story. I didn't like those new characters. The new characters just weren't as compelling as the original cast of characters.
Like,
Oh,
yeah, to me, they try to make it a little bit too serious. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, these characters were they were essentially goofy, but
it's a dude, bro, freaking group of guys that's just trying to save the fucking world. But I mean, it ain't that serious. Like,
and most people be like, I don't want to go that route because I feel like if I go that route, I won't be taken seriously. It's like, fuck that shit, yo. Oh well, that's your fan base. You know what I mean? That's me. I already live in a fucked up world, man. Let me fucking, let me deal with something else. Too much realism. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I get it. I totally understand it. When it comes to certain, people what they like and stuff like that. But for the most part, just to close this out or whatever, I actually like the outing of PlayStation 5. Like, I'm not getting a lot of sleep, and that's not normal for me. I'm like I'm like, man, I really want to play. Like, I went on fucking vacation. It was like, I want to go home. You know what I mean? I want to go and play my PlayStation. And that was such a, these particular games, I like being in its world and everything else. I just enjoy it. I enjoy playing those games. To the point where it's just it was really nice. Can't get mad at it. I thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm happy to
But
hear.
yeah, thank you guys for like definitely joining in there. I am sorry that I can't. Normally I would be a lot more energized and shit like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to get off of coffee, to be honest with you. Like I had a cup of coffee yesterday, and then that was supposed to be it. And I had one too close to my sleeping time, and that fucked my whole day up. Like my whole fucking day. And it's now it's fucked up too, man. I'm just like so mad at myself. Because after this shit, I gotta take a nap and then I'll be good to go. It's so fucking annoying. Don't coffee is a fucking drug. Let me tell you guys. If you don't know that
Coffee
shit,
puts
that's
me
a
to
whole
sleep.
fucking. It does for me too, but I wake up also in 15 minutes, and then my sleeping pattern it disrupts my sleeping patterns. Like seriously,
Mm.
I could do
I,
it, but I'm overdoing it.
I was actually wanted to talk about Halo Infinite and how its multiplayer is failing.
Yeah, did y'all hear about that shit? It's
Yep.
you can't connect the players that well anymore. Like
Yep. You want to know why?
why?
Skill-based matchmaking, because it's enabled for ranked and unranked playlists.
Oh no, that's the devil. In
Yep.
online games nowadays, that's the devil, bro. You cannot
Yep.
have fun. You
Not to
cannot
mention you
relax
also.
for 1 second.
Yep. Now, not to mention that there's some players that actually have a VPN, and that VPN could be mapped to anywhere other than their country.
So they just
Damn,
do whatever the fuck. Oh well, they wanted it.
it is what it
That's all I
Yep.
can
is.
say.
Yep.
They fucking wanted it.
Because if like someone is like really really good, and if they're like, okay, I'm going to put up a VPN so I don't get DDoSed or if I don't get swatted. Okay, so let me put up a VPN and I'll just do it like the country next to me. Okay, cool. But then they try to connect to a game and it takes like 3 to 5 minutes. But like from someone, but like it's like 3 to 4 people within like a Team Slayer match.
Yeah, they're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna end this, guys. Yo, thank you guys for jumping in. I really appreciate that
Hey,
shit. I'll have more energy by the end of my Saturday show for sure.